At my brother's engagement party, I made an announcement, a gift, a $10,000 payment toward the new luxury car he and his fiancée had just bought. He laughed and shot back, "Make it 20 grand if you actually want an invite." I kept a straight face, smiled politely, and pulled the offer back. Then I turned to him in front of everyone and said, "Start packing, you've got 30 days, as I handed him a formal eviction notice in front of 40 stunned guests. "Come on, Ethan," my brother Ryan chuckled, his voice slicing through the quiet buzz of the room. "Make it 20 grand if you want an invite." The room broke into laughter, our cousins smirked, and Claire's friends exchanged wide-eyed glances. I could feel the flush creeping up my neck, that old, familiar sting of embarrassment, but I held my ground. I just smiled. That same polite, practiced smile I'd been wearing for years, the one I'd perfected like armor. A few moments earlier, I had announced the gift, a $10,000 contribution toward their new car. It was something I'd saved up for, a gesture to show my support. But Ryan never saw a gift for what it was. To him, everything was leverage, a transaction. His fiancée, Claire, standing next to him, gently squeezed his arm. She let out a soft, awkward laugh. "Oh, Ryan, stop. He's just joking," she whispered, but I caught the look in Ryan's eyes. There was no trace of a joke there. Across the room, my dad lifted his glass with a grin. "Betsy for you." Always trying to buy his way in. Some things never change. His smile stretched wide, but his eyes were ice cold. My mother sipped her wine and stared at the table, pretending not to hear a word. That was her thing, pretending. The weight pressed down on me, heavy and familiar. It was the same burden I'd carried for years. I had stepped in when Dad lost his job and the bills piled up. I quietly paid for Mom's medical treatments. I helped Ryan through college with loans he never once mentioned repaying. I was the fixer, the ATM, the idiot. But not tonight. I cleared my throat, steadying my voice. "You're right, Ryan. 10,000's not enough." I pulled out my phone, tapped a few buttons, then looked back up at him with a calm smile. So I canceled it. The room froze. Ryan's grin faded, and the laughter around us came to a screeching halt. His friend shifted uncomfortably, murmurs starting to ripple through the crowd. What?" he stammered, his voice suddenly unsure. I canceled the payment. I turned toward the wall where a big white screen was set up for a slideshow of their engagement photos. But tonight, it had a new role. I tapped my phone, and the screen flickered to life. Messages appeared, text messages from Ryan. "You know I don't even want him here, but Mom's making me invite him. Ugh. Don't worry. Once he pays for the car, we'll just ghost him again. Honestly, he's pathetic. I'd feel bad, but free money, right?" The silence wasn't just awkward anymore. It was suffocating. Ryan turned ghost white. Claire let go of his arm, her mouth slightly open, stunned. Gasps replaced the whispers, and then it was dead quiet again. "Ethan." My mom finally breathed, reaching out toward me like she could somehow pull me away from the chaos I just caused. But I wasn't finished. Not this time. I stepped forward, made sure my voice carried. "Ryan, I'm done. I'm done being your ATM. I'm done playing the fool." I reached into my jacket and pulled out a clean white envelope. "This is your official 30-day notice. You and Claire have until the end of the month to move out of my apartment." Ryan's eyes went wide. You can't do this," he stuttered. "You can't just." "I can," I said. "And I am." I laid the envelope on the table beside their untouched champagne glasses. "Congrats on the engagement," I said, letting some of the bitterness show. "But this is the last time you take advantage of me." Then I turned and walked out, leaving behind 40 stunned faces and their perfect evening in ruins. I wish I could tell you the fallout ended that night. That I walked away, and they just sat there, ashamed and quiet, finally confronted with the truth. But people like my family? They don't vanish. They regroup. They get ready for round two. The next morning, before I'd even gotten out of bed, my phone started buzzing. A message from my mother. "How could you embarrass us like that? We're family, Ethan. Family." I didn't reply. 10 minutes later, another ping. "Your brother is devastated. Claire's family is furious. You need to apologize. Fix this." By the time I made myself a cup of coffee, my phone was under siege. Missed calls from my dad. A dozen messages from Ryan, swinging wildly between guilt and venom. "You ruined everything. You're a jealous little snake. I'll never forgive you." I said nothing, and somehow that made it worse. When I stayed quiet, they went public. The first blow came from my mom's Facebook page. Family isn't about blood. It's about loyalty. Some people need to remember that. The comments came flooding in. Distant relatives jumped in with their support. Aunts and uncles dropped heart emojis. Only one brave soul asked, "What happened?" That comment disappeared within minutes. Then Ryan's buddies chimed in. His best friend Brandon posted on his story, "Some people just can't stand to see others happy." Sad. Claire didn't stay quiet either. She posted a tear-streaked photo on Instagram with a caption that read, "Betrayal hurts most when it comes from your own blood." I stared at my phone, feeling this cold burn settle in my chest. But I didn't respond. Not yet. Later that night, I got a call. Almost didn't answer it until I saw the name. It was Lucas, Claire's brother. We hadn't spoken in years, but we'd always been cool with each other. I picked up. "Ethan," he started, tension in his voice. "I need to know the truth. About Ryan. About what happened." I paused, then decided to just lay it all out. I told him everything about the money, the texts, how Ryan had used me, and laughed about it behind my back. There was a long silence. Then Lucas said quietly, "I knew it. I knew it all along. Claire's been covering for him. I found messages too." Lucas didn't hold back. "He's been trying to hook up with 2 of her bridesmaids," he said. I sank into the couch, fingers tightening around my phone. "Are you serious?" "Dead serious," Lucas snapped. "And I'm done watching her play the fool. I'm telling her everything." I didn't try to stop him. Why would I? But I wasn't prepared for how fast everything would spiral after that. The next day, Claire's Instagram was gone. Her profile picture? Replaced with a gray default icon. Her Facebook? Deactivated. And in our family group chat? Pure chaos. "Mom, Ethan, what did you do?" Claire broke off the engagement. "Dad, you've gone too far. You've destroyed your brother's life. Ryan, you're nothing but a fraud. I'll make you pay for this." But here's the truth. I didn't destroy Ryan's life. Ryan did. And I had the receipts, literal and metaphorical. I opened my laptop and logged into the cloud account linked to the security camera in my apartment, the same apartment Ryan and Claire had been living in for months. The one where Ryan thought he could say and do anything without consequence. It didn't take long to find what I needed. A clip, just over a month old. Ryan sitting in the living room with 2 of his friends, a bottle of whiskey on the table, grinning like he owned the world. "Dude, Ethan is way too trusting," he laughed, slurring slightly. "He thinks he's being the good big brother, paying for everything, always bailing us out. The guy's pathetic." One of his friends chuckled. "He's not gonna find out you spent his rent money on that watch, right?" Ryan smirked. "Nah. And even if he does, he'll give me some self-righteous lecture and then pay it off again. He always does." I downloaded the video and made a backup. Then I opened another folder, my receipts. Years of payments. Rent, utilities, groceries. The little loans that piled up. Screenshots of messages. Bank transfers. I tallied it all. Over $40,000. It wasn't about revenge. It was about the truth. About finally pulling off the mask Ryan wore, not just with me, but with everyone else, too. That's when my phone buzzed again. A text from Dad. "You think you're some kind of hero? You think you're better than us?" I stared at it for a second. Then I smiled. I opened Facebook, went to my profile, and began to type. Family isn't about loyalty. It's about respect. And respect is earned. Then I attached the video of Ryan laughing, the screenshots of his texts, the spreadsheet of payments and receipts. And I hit post. Then I sat back and watched. Within minutes, the notifications flooded in. Comments exploded. Cousins tagging each other. Friends messaging me, some shocked, some stunned, and a few quietly saying, "It's about time." Lucas, Claire's brother, liked the post and commented, "You did the right thing." They needed to see the truth. But my family? They went nuclear. Mom called, her voice trembling with rage. "How could you do this? How could you shame your own brother like that?" Dad's next message was barely coherent. "Take it down now, or I swear, you'll regret this." Ryan tried calling. Again and again. When I didn't pick up, he sent one final message. "You think this is over? You have no idea how far I'm willing to go." I leaned back in my chair, a strange calm settling over me. They wanted to fight? They had no idea how ready I was. Just as I finished reading that last angry text from Dad, my phone rang again. Mom's name flashed across the screen. For a second, I almost didn't answer. But part of me still wanted to know, was she going to keep pretending? Still cover for them? I picked up. "Ethan," she said softly. Her voice was gentler than I'd heard in years. "Can we talk? Please. Just us." "Talk?" I echoed, leaning back. "What about? How I'm the traitor? How I destroyed Ryan's perfect life. No, she whispered. Not like that. I don't want to fight. She paused, then added, there's a yoga class I go to. There's a little cafe nearby. Can you meet me there? Just talk. Please. I hesitated, then nodded to myself. Fine. I'll be there. The yoga studio was all glass walls, soft lighting, and whispered affirmations. I stood outside, watching through the window as Mom moved through her poses, her face a picture of serenity, as if nothing in the world was broken. But in my pocket, my phone buzzed gently against my leg, loaded with the truth. The video of Ryan mocking me. The texts where he bragged about using me. His plans to cheat on Claire. The audio clip of my father's threats. When she finally stepped outside, she smiled, wiping her forehead with a towel like everything was normal. Thank you for coming, she said. We walked to the cafe, a minimalist little place with hanging plants and soft instrumental music playing overhead. She ordered a green smoothie. I got black coffee. I'm glad you're here, Ethan, she began, voice soft, almost pleading. I just want us to understand each other. I want to fix this. Fix this. I leaned forward. How do you fix something that's always been broken? Please, she whispered, don't be like this. Your brother, he's struggling. He's hurting. And Dad, I cut in, is furious that I'm not his puppet anymore? Is that what this is about? You want me to fix the mess he made? Her face lost a little color. It's not about sides, Ethan. It's about family. Family, I repeated, letting out a bitter laugh. You mean the same family that mocked me, used me, betrayed me? The very same family that turned on me the minute I dared to speak up for myself. Ethan, please, her voice wavered as she spoke. I'm just trying to keep the peace here. But right then, the cafe door burst open, and any hope of peace vanished. Ryan strolled in, using the kind of arrogance only a man who still believed he had the upper hand could manage. Trailing behind him was Dad, wearing that same old scowl that had always been his version of a warning sign. Mom's eyes went wide in disbelief. You two weren't supposed to. Save it, Mom. Ryan cut her off, yanking a chair out and plopping down. We figured this little heart-to-heart could use a dose of honesty. Damn right, Dad growled as he sat beside me. Let's clear the air, Ethan. You've shamed this family enough already. I looked over at Mom. Her carefully composed expression had crumbled into pure panic. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Ryan sneered. Come on, Mr. Truthbomb. Got any more juicy stories? Or did your spotlight finally burn out? I took a sip of coffee, letting the bitterness and heat ground me. I didn't flinch. Stories? You mean the ones where you bragged about using me? I said calmly. Or maybe the one where you told Claire's friends she was too dumb to catch on to your lies? Ryan's grin faltered, but he didn't back off. Shut up. You think anyone buys your crap? Doesn't matter if they do, I said, my voice quiet but sharp enough to cut glass. All that matters is that it's true. Truth. Dad leaned in, voice low and venomous. The truth is, you're a selfish brat who stabbed his own family in the back. You think you're better than us? I think I've had enough of your manipulative games. Games. Ryan barked out a laugh and leaned back, arms crossed. You've always been a joke, man. A pathetic little loser trying to buy some respect. I gave a small, steady smile. A joke. I reached into my pocket, pulled out my phone, and with a few taps, the cafe's large TV, usually looping fitness videos, flickered on. And then Ryan's voice echoed through the room. Ethan's so gullible. He actually thinks helping us means we care about him. It's honestly sad. The cafe went completely quiet. People turned their heads. Mom gasped, covering her mouth with her hand. On screen, Ryan sat in my apartment with his friends, drinking, laughing like it was all a big joke. And Claire? She really believes I'm serious about her, he said, grinning. Meanwhile, I've already lined up 2 of her bridesmaids. Ryan's face turned beet red as he stepped forward. But I didn't budge. Don't touch me. Turn that off, he shouted, his voice cracking. I ignored him. Instead, I opened another file, screenshots of texts. Messages where he mocked me, called me his walking wallet. Where he bragged about how I covered his car payments, rent, and debts like an idiot. Lies, he screamed. You faked those. I didn't fake a thing. I tapped again, and an audio recording started playing. Dad's voice came through, scratchy but clear. He's weak. Just push him a little, and he caves. He always does. Dad's face went pale. You were recording me? No, I said. You're just too dumb to realize how phones work. Mom reached across the table, tears streaking her cheeks. Ethan, please. Please stop. But I wasn't finished. I turned my attention to Ryan. You think you're clever? You're just a coward who won't own up to anything you say. Then I looked at Dad. And you? All you ever wanted was control. Finally, I turned to Mom. And you never once defended me. Not once. Stop it, she whispered, breaking down. Please, just stop. But the damage was done. The truth had been set free. Ryan's face twisted with rage. You'll pay for this. You're the selfish one. He lunged, but the cafe manager stepped in, holding out a firm hand. Sir, I need you to leave now. Get off me. Ryan yelled, trying to shove past, but the manager held tight. Dad pushed to his feet, legs unsteady. This is how you treat family. No, I said, looking him dead in the eyes. This is exactly what you do when family turns toxic. I grabbed my coat and slipped my phone into my pocket without another glance. I didn't look back, not at their stunned faces, not at their rage, and definitely not at the chaos I left behind. As the cafe doors swung shut behind me, the cold hit my face like a slap. But for the first time in years, I could actually breathe. Back home, the silence felt like comfort. No shouting, no guilt-ridden texts, just the steady hum of the fridge and the soft patter of rain against the window. I set my phone on the counter and waited. I didn't have to wait long. The screen lit up, buzzing with fury. First, Dad, you've destroyed this family, Ethan. This is all your fault. Then Mom, please, Ethan. He's your brother. Can't you just forgive him? And finally, Ryan, you always hide behind other people. You think this is over? You'll regret this. I leaned back, took another sip of coffee. It had gone cold by now and felt a strange, quiet peace settle in. They were right. This wasn't over. But it would be. And soon. I opened my laptop, clicked into the folder I'd labeled War Chest. Inside, bank transfers, text threads, audio files, and that video of Ryan calling me his personal ATM. I knew exactly what came next. An hour later, I was sitting across from Claire, an old college friend, now a fierce and successful attorney. She flipped through the files, her face moving from curious to stunned to downright furious. This is airtight, Ethan, she said. We can sue for fraud and unjust enrichment. Good, I replied, voice calm and sure. I want every damn cent back. The lawsuit hit them like a wrecking ball. Mom was the first to call, frantic and desperate. Ethan, don't do this. We're family. No, I said. Family doesn't steal. Then I hung up. Next came Dad, trying to intimidate me like he always had. You really think you're tough now? Suing your own flesh and blood? The judge is going to laugh at you. He won't, I said flatly. Because you're going to lose. And Ryan? Ryan came crawling last. Okay, fine. I'll pay you back. Just drop the case, all right? Pay me back, I said, leaning in. Now you're interested in paying me back? I laughed. With what, Ryan? The money you blew on designer watches? Or the car you parade around in but can't afford to insure? The silence on the other end said everything I needed to hear. In the courtroom, silence didn't stand a chance. The truth came in like a wrecking ball. My lawyer laid out every ugly detail, payments for Ryan's rent, the luxury car I stupidly co-signed for, loan after loan that was never meant to be paid back. Then came the video. Ryan's smug face on screen, laughing with his buddies, mocking me like I was nothing but his personal ATM. He shifted in his seat, color draining from his face. Mom sat stiffly in the gallery, dabbing at her eyes with a crumpled tissue. Dad just stared forward, jaw locked, refusing to look at me. Ryan's lawyer tried the sympathy angle, claimed I'd helped my brother willingly, that this was a family misunderstanding, not a legal matter. But Claire, my lawyer, not his ex, was ready. She stood calmly, fire in her voice. There's a difference between helping and being exploited, she said. What Ethan endured was not generosity. It was financial abuse, emotional manipulation, and betrayal wrapped in the illusion of family loyalty. Then I played the audio. Dad's voice, cold and casual. Just press him enough, and he'll give in. He always does. I watched the judge's expression harden. Her eyes locked on Ryan, then on my father. Then the gavel came down. I rule in favor of the plaintiff, she said firmly. Michael Connor is ordered to repay the full amount of $43,000 to Ethan Connor, plus additional damages for emotional distress. This court finds Mr. Connor's actions to be a clear abuse of familial trust. Ryan just sat there, mouth opening and closing like a fish gasping for air. No words, no comeback. Just defeat. Dad's hands were clenched so tightly his knuckles had gone bone white. But I stood up, steady and lighter than I had felt in years. I was free. The fallout was fast and ugly. Ryan called, desperate, trying to strike a deal. Said he'd pay me back in installments, fix things, be better. I blocked him without a second thought. Dad left me a voicemail not long after, rage pouring through the speaker. You traitor. You snake. You disgrace this family. I deleted it halfway through. Then came Mom, pounding on my door, her voice breaking between sobs. Ethan, please. We can talk. We can fix this. I stood on the other side of the door, watching her through the peephole. Her face crumpled, her hand flat against the wood. I turned and walked away. They tried to poison the rest of the family against me. A few cousins reached out, vague and careful. Maybe just, think about what you're doing. I ignored them too. Then the ripple effect hit hard. Ryan had to sell the luxury car, the one Claire's family helped him finance, just to cover part of the judgment. Dad tried pulling money from his retirement fund to bail him out, but it wasn't enough. They even filed for financial hardship, hoping to convince the court to reduce the payments. Claire tore their claims apart like tissue paper. Your son paid for your lifestyle while you mocked him behind his back, she told the court. Now it's time to return what was stolen. A month later, the first payment landed in my account. An automated transfer. Cold. Mechanical. No note. No apology. Just money. But every dollar wasn't a reminder of what I'd lost. It was proof of what I'd reclaimed. I didn't waste it. I paid off the last of my student loans. I put some away, invested smartly for the first time in my life. I traded in my beat-up car for something sleek and efficient. Got a gym membership. Started sleeping better. Ate better. Felt better. But the best part? The silence. No more late-night voicemails. No more guilt-ridden messages. No more pretending I was the problem. And then, one day, I saw her. Claire. The one Ryan had betrayed so thoroughly. She spotted me at a cafe and waved me over with a soft smile. I'm sorry, she said, voice quiet, eyes warm but tinged with sadness. You don't know me that, I said gently. We sat for a while, just talking. About life. About what came next. She told me she'd left Ryan for good. Had moved on. Found peace. I told her I was trying to do the same. And I was. But as I walked away, there was a quiet ache in my chest. A hollow spot where something used to live. Winning hadn't felt like triumph. It felt like I'd cut away a part of myself I had spent years protecting. Maybe I wasn't just fighting them all this time. Maybe I was fighting the fear that, without them, I'd be alone. That night, in the quiet of my apartment, I opened my laptop. Not to build another case. Not to plan my next move. But to write a letter. Not to them. To me. Dear Ethan. You are not a wallet. You are not a punching bag. You are not their savior. You are you. And you are finally free. I saved it. Closed the laptop. Let the silence settle around me. Outside, rain tapped against the windows. But for once, it wasn't a storm. Just rain. Calm. Gentle. Peaceful. And for the first time in a long, long while, I smiled. The rain tapped against the window, a soothing rhythm. But this time, it wasn't a storm. It was just a quiet, peaceful rain.